Hi there, guys, and welcome to. Hi there, guys, and welcome to the first live stream edition of the Cover Zero Roundtable with me, your host Simon Conboy. We've also got Arnie here.
Hi, guys.
And we've also got the producer Dan.
Hi, guys. Hopefully, I'm audible this week.
Yeah, here's hoping. I mean, I can hear you. That's something. So much like last week, we're going to go through some of the major injuries of week 2. Then we're going to have a bit of a talk about who's impressed us and who hasn't thus far this season before going through the slate of week 3 games and giving a bit of thoughts on how each team performed during week 2. So we'll start with injuries, and we'll start with what I think is the most significant one. Marshall Yonder for the Ravens, out for the season. In my opinion, the best guard in football. This is big.
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, they were having, even though they had a lot of running back issues as well, they were having quite some success with their running backs and their run game, and yeah, it's big for them.
I mean, he is the best.
Yeah.
I don't know how you replace, and their offensive line isn't great, so I don't know. They've done maybe enough in these 2 weeks, whilst they hadn't really beaten anyone, to maybe convince people that, you know, with the way that defense is playing, that they could be a contender. But I just feel like this offense, especially with Flacco's potential health issues and how run heavy they've been, I feel like this is going to be really difficult for them to overcome.
Yeah, I would agree on that one. I think, I mean, they've had a good start to the year as well. And they seem to stay relatively healthy in those 2 games.
Yeah,
which makes a change from their off season. And obviously this just won't help them going forward. But as they always say, next man up.
Yeah, I mean, there's clearly going to be a decline in that line's effectiveness. This is a rough one. One of the biggest injuries of the year so far. And we'll see how they try and replace him. I think it's going to be tough sledding. I think we might see Jeremy Zutar returning once again to the Ravens for the 3rd time this year. That could be impressive. Another massive one, Greg Olsen out for 6 to 8 weeks with a broken foot. Now, with the Panthers' offense looking, I think it's safe to say, a bit turd thus far. This is their best weapon. I'm not sold on Christian McCaffrey as their best weapon at this point. Greg Olsen is all reliable. He's Cam Newton's favourite. This is, I think this is really rough because they've got a bad line. He's a good blocker. And, I mean, if there's one guy that's irreplaceable on that offense, outside of Cam, obviously, it's Olsen. So I think this is certainly going to hinder their season.
Well, this is like back in the Tony Romo days of the Cowboys. This is like Jason Witten going down. It's like the one reliable weapon.
But that never happens. Jason Witten's like this weird, indestructible red man.
Yeah, he is, along with Frank Gore, the ageless one. But yeah, I mean, they've got so little weaponry in Carolina at the moment as it is. That's going to put a strain on it. I mean, that game against the Bills, they won by the skin of their teeth. What they can do, there's nothing they can do now. I think the Panthers are in massive trouble this season. I don't know what's going on with that team.
Well, on the offensive side, I'm not sure. Arnie, what do you think about this one?
I think, well, as you said, like, you're not sold on Christian McCaffrey being the number 1 option, but I think he will be going forward. I think he's going to have to be.
They're treating him like he's their number 1. It's just, it's not quite paying off at this point.
I think they're going to have to now. I mean, they don't have a true number 1 for Cam now with Olsen gone. Again, another massive blow to a team that didn't need that sort of thing to happen to them.
Yeah, I mean, the issue I think for the Panthers is really their 2 receivers are set up to be intermediate and deep play guys with Funchess and Benjamin, and Olsen's the intermediate guy, and now he's gone. This line can't pass protect. He obviously helped with that protection sometimes. He was a really good run blocker. He seems to be very run heavy. It's just, you can't replace a player of this caliber, so I think this one's tough. I think those are the two most significant injuries. We've got a couple other short ones, sort of short-term ones. Garrett Bowles, the Broncos left tackle, he'd been playing quite well for a line that's looked much better. He's going to be out for a few weeks with a high ankle sprain. So I think that's rough for them. Particularly because this line was so much better and it's enabled this team to actually be balanced this year. The run blocking's been much better. The pass protection's been much improved. I'm not saying that Bowles has been a world beater, but he's probably better than what they've got backing him up. And these kind of injuries, they can tend to linger. If they rush him back, could easily end up recurring and missing a larger chunk of time. So I think this is going to hurt a team that's been far more impressive on offense than anyone figured they would be at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they've pass blocked really well this year. Well, substantially much better than last year. And again, that's something that has shown them being 2-0, and that offense is really clicking right now.
Yeah. Actually, on the subject of pass blocking and whatnot, slightly tangential, but what the level of offensive line play in the league so far this year has been abysmal. It was ridiculous, even with all the injuries.
Well, there's certain culprits, and I think I'm not sure that the overall standards necessarily been lower for most teams. It's just the teams that have had awful offensive lines have, if anything, got worse, because we're looking at the Seahawks were terrible last year. They've been even worse thus far to start this season. Same with the Giants. The Cardinals had problems last year. I think they've got worse. The way they've performed on the offensive line. And the Texans, they've got, Dwayne Brown still not there. They've looked awful. The Bengals lost a bunch of guys. I expected them to struggle. I didn't think they'd be this bad. So I think that's a part of it. And yeah, these are pretty high-profile teams for the most part.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, the O-line play, the games we've watched so far, I'm not sure if it's early season rust, but it's just getting ridiculous now.
I think it's a bit of both. Don't get me wrong, the standard's been a bit lower, but I think those teams in particular just jump out because they've been abysmal.
Yeah, I wouldn't know much about bad offensive line play.
Shut up, shut up.
It's just, I mean, we'll get to some of those teams later on where we can talk about just how bad they've been. Another big injury, I don't think it will necessarily be huge. Vic Beasley's out for a month with a torn hamstring. The Falcons. I don't think this is necessarily going to be huge for them. It's a fairly small period of time. And they've got some other guys. They don't have any sort of stars there, but this does give their first round pick the opportunity to see more snaps, maybe hurry up his development a little.
Yeah, I think it won't really affect the Falcons too much. But they're a team that rely heavily on that offense. So I don't think it will affect them too much. Yeah, they might not get as much pressure on the quarterback, but I mean, with the scheme they run, I think the next man up will.
They've got a fair bit of depth at the position, so I think, it's not a great group. Brooks Reed, Tack McKinley, they can play Adrian Claiborne out there. And they're not outstanding, but I think they'll do enough. And they're a team that gets put in good situations to pass rush with that offense.
Yeah.
And this one's a bit of a tough one. Browns receiver Corey Coleman played pretty well in week 1, I thought. Once again, he broke his hand, just like he did last year. So he's going to be out for 6 weeks. I think the issue I've got with this one is it means you're relying on Kenny Britt more. And if I like Kenny Britt deserves some kind of, I don't know if it's a medal, but he made Randy Moss in his Oakland days look like a high effort player with his performance on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I know the woes there with Kenny Britt, sort of more than most people, but his performance this year has been atrocious. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the last game he had 2 catches for like 13 yards or something like that.
Yeah, and just seeing him, I would say running routes, sort of briskly jogging routes, was just...
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I know when he was in Tennessee and when he was in St. Louis, his route running is kind of what he was known for. He was a good route runner. And so seeing him not run these routes pretty like this...
It's just loafing. It's just a guy putting...
It's a guy that he clearly does not want to be there.
Mm. And they've just got nothing at that position. It's crazy. They drafted 4-5 receivers a couple of years ago in the Coleman draft. And outside of Coleman, when he's been healthy, none of them have done anything.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. But those are the major injuries. So we'll go on to the most impressive of the 2-0 teams thus far. We can put the Dolphins in this, by the way. Spoiler alert, I'm predicting they beat the Jets this week. So if you want to say they're the most impressive, I'm not sure anyone will, sort of squeaking past the Chargers like that. But they're an option. So we'll start with you, Dan. Who's your most impressive of the 2-0 teams?
Chiefs. Of course it's going to be the Chiefs. After the that Week 1 Patriots game, I expected them to give them a good fight. I didn't expect the win. And as I kept saying all Sunday night while watching the Chiefs-Eagles games to both you and Arnie, I was just saying, you guys need to watch this game. This game is brutal. This is an amazing game. And the Chiefs, I think they've got what it takes. They face two very good, if not elite teams, and proven...
Oh, I agree. It's hard to argue with the Chiefs based on the quality of those wins.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I was saying this...
These teams, and they've been complete performances.
Well, yeah, I was saying this to Arnie, actually, on Sunday after the game had finished, was, if anything, what the Chiefs showed in the Eagles game, that wasn't an easy win. They've showed they can go right down the line, take it to the absolute limit of possibly, game going either way and still pull out a victory. I think that's the makings of a championship team right there. They win the difficult games. Because that Eagles team's really... That's not an easy team to face. Not by any means.
No, they've got some weapons in that front foot. I mean, that game, watching it, I said going in, I was looking forward to it last week because you've got two of the best pass rushes in the league. And it absolutely was the case. That was not a fun game to be quarterbacking.
No, you kind of felt sorry for both QBs in a sense, but they pulled it out. So I think Chiefs are now the team to beat. I mean, I think originally when we first did the podcast, who did I say were the team to beat? I think originally our teams to beat in the AFC were the Steelers and the Pats.
Patriots, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm the opposite way now. The teams to beat are the Chiefs and the Raiders.
I did say I thought the Chiefs would win the AFC West, but I think it's going to be hard for those teams to compete for the 1 and 2 seeds simply because, the Broncos, the Raiders and the Chiefs all look really good right now. They're going to beat each other up. They're going to drop some games as a result of that. But, they do have that tiebreaker over the Patriots. That could be big come playoff time. But, I mean, it's hard to disagree with the Chiefs. Kareem Hunt, I think, has been the big story because without him, I think Kelsey and Hill, were the two weapons going in. You'd figured Hill would probably be effective in his second year. Couldn't be sure because last year was a rookie, but he's been decent. Kelsey, we know what he is. Outside of Gronk, he's the best tight end in football. But having that third big time weapon has really just improved this whole offense.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, in the games you can see it. Their game planning going into the game for something later in the game. So I think the one which I noticed most was the Kelsey screen towards the end of the game. And you can see all game they were building up to that. And there was a number of other things where you can see they're just waiting to get the right look for a certain play and knock it out.
No one does that better than Andy Reid. He loves screens.
Yeah, I mean, they've game planned really well, and just the scheme they're running, it's just no one can seem to be able to defend it.
So, Arnie, are you in the same boat? Chiefs' best team after 2 weeks, most impressive?
I'm with the Chiefs, but I'll give a sort of a different sort of look on it since Dan went with them, and I'll go with the Raiders. I'll stay within that division because I think that is the best division in football right now. I mean, the Raiders for me, they've got
we
stronger
said
this
going
year.
into the season it was the best division in football.
Yeah.
So.
They've got stronger this year. Okay, yeah, they beat the Jets. That we're expecting most teams to do that this year, if not all. But it's just the addition of Marshawn Lynch has really changed that offense. They've gone very run heavy, and I'm not surprised why. I mean, with Lynch bulldozing his way as he is, and the offensive line play has been fantastic there. The defense
It's been a lot better than I expected.
Yeah, it's looked better than I've expected, especially against us as well. I was expecting us to pass all over them. We didn't. I think the Jets had a couple of touchdowns on them, but they kept them in check. Okay, yeah, it's not much keeping the Jets in check again, but I think they've looked really impressive, and it just shows you can double team Amari Cooper. You've still got to worry about Crabtree. Cordell Patterson looked fairly good in that game as well. They've got the weapons there, and I think they're another team that's going to be a very highly contested division.
Do we all think Derek Carr's that at that level, that caliber of quarterback at this point?
Yeah, I think without a doubt. But also,
if not very close to being there.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, to add on to what Arnie said, both the Chiefs and the Raiders in the off-season, the two biggest acquisitions for them were running backs. And I think that both the Chiefs and the Raiders now are arguably the most well-rounded, complete offenses in the league at this point in time. They've got everything on the offense.
Well, the Falcons, I think you can put them in there. They're a pretty rounded group.
Yeah, but Kareem Hunt and Marshawn Lynch,
Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman are a really good pair.
Yeah, agreed. But the O-line in Atlanta's a bit dodgy.
It's good. It's underperformed these 2 weeks, but for me, I'm going to stick within that division as well and just say the Broncos, because if you can play defense like that, I agree the Chiefs have been the most impressive team. I think we're all unanimous on that. But man, to hold Ezekiel Elliott to 8 yards on 9 carries and just make Dak Prescott look like the clueless rookie people were expecting to see last year.
Yeah.
Well,
was putting up, 42 points? It could have been more, frankly. They found the run game. Their issues, because we knew that defense, like the pass defense, you've got Von Miller there. Shane Ray's still out. He'll be back soon. Shaq Barrett has stepped up and played really well in his place. The defensive line's been fortified. DeMarco Pico's playing well. I forget the name of the other defensive end opposite Derek Wolfe. Like the D line's been playing great. The secondary's the secondary. They haven't missed a beat. Bear in mind, all 3 of those guys in the no-fly zone have a pick. 2 weeks in, all 3 of them. Yeah. And the offense though, Trevor Siemian looks legitimate to me.
Yeah.
The O-line's much improved, and they've got a run game.
The run game is back, and that's the one thing they were needing the most as well, is that run game to come back.
Yeah,
I found funny after that Denver game, I was watching Vance Joseph's press conference, and he said the one thing I'm disappointed about is we didn't put up 50 points.
It feels like they could have in that game.
You dominated the team when you're disappointed that you didn't put up 50.
Also, who didn't love the play action fake to no one? Oh yeah, you didn't watch the game. They one of Emmanuel Sanders' touchdowns. They did a play action, but there was no one in the backfield.
What? Wait, who? How does? That's like Mark Sanchez levels of stupid.
Well, it's not, because it worked.
Yeah, they bit.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go with the least impressive. Moving on from that, of the 0-2 teams.
Wait, hold on.
So you tried to wrap your head around that play.
No, wait. So hold on. Let me get this straight. According to this podcast, by the sounds of it, the number 1, 2, and 3 seeds are going to be AFC
West.
No. We just said the most impressive teams of the first couple of weeks.
Let's be honest, though. Throw the Pats into the mix. I think we're looking at 3 teams from the AFC West making it to the playoffs this year.
It wouldn't be shocking. It definitely wouldn't be shocking.
Except the Chargers, because as I said before, Chargers suck. You just do, guys. I'm sorry.
They've been okay. It's not like they got out in either game. They missed a field goal, and they had a field goal blocked that would have took a game to overtime.
Yeah, they've got the Cardinals.
They lost against Jay Cutler. I don't care. They made Jay Cutler somehow look good.
The JJ backfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll move on. 0-2 team, like 2-0 teams that haven't impressed. I'm going to start here and go with one that, just because I think a lot of people have been impressed by them, and I'm not convinced at all at this point, and that's the Lions. And part of that is, I mean, their defense has been much better than I expected, but they've played arguably the two most broken offenses in the league. I mean, this Giants offense, and I know bad offense.
Wait, are you going to start ragging on my boys?
Huh?
You're going to start.
I'm talking about the Giants offense.
I know, but they're 2-0 for a reason, because Cardinals.
The Lions are 2-0 because these two teams have looked really bad that they've played. So I'm not convinced. The defense has looked good, but the Cardinals' offense has looked just awful, and the Giants have looked even worse. I mean, the Giants' offense is up there after 2 weeks with the most inept groups I've ever seen. I mean, it's that bad. I mean, the Lions won this game. They threw for 120 yards.
Yeah.
And they won this game comfortably. Didn't ever look under threat.
Oh, what is happening in New York? That
offense is just awful. The defense has been great, but yeah, the Lions, I've not seen enough from them. They kind of they blew up in the fourth quarter with a couple of big plays to put away the Cardinals. But that game, they trailed a lot of it. And frankly, the first 3 quarters of that game were some of the ugliest football I've ever seen. And then, yeah, they beat the Giants. But even then, it wasn't really out of hand until late. And the Giants just couldn't do anything. So I need to see whether this Lions defense is legitimate. I think the offense will be okay. I think they're certainly a solid unit. Adding, like, Kenny Golladay seems to have, like, he'll be something for them. And they got weapons. Stafford's playing well. In spite of only throwing for 120 yards, he actually did play well, which sounds weird, but he did. So I need to see a bit more from them. How about you guys?
Unimpressive 2-0 teams.
Yeah.
For me, I'd have to go with Carolina. I mean,
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, they've trundled along. I mean, they faced 2 mediocre, if not very subpar.
Well, I think the Niners are among the worst teams in the league. That again, when we're talking broken offenses.
Yeah, I mean, they barely managed to get through last week against Buffalo.
Yeah,
and the same goes when they faced San Fran. I mean, Cam Newton's play hasn't looked great.
It's been a real concern.
Yeah, the offensive line has its worries there. The defense, I think the linebackers, as always, have looked like the strong point on that defense.
The front seven holes look good, but it's just...
the front seven has looked good. They've been getting pressure, but the secondary is not there. The weapons aren't there, and obviously with losing Olsen as well, it's going to continue to get worse. Well, it has to get worse from a 2-0 start. I think that's the most success they're going to see this season.
If the offense can figure things out, I think the defense is going to be a good unit. I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to get misled by the teams they've played against and the success they've had so far. But I still think they can be good. But they need
to get some sort of thing going.
Yeah, it has been a concern. The O-line's terrible.
But I think it will take Newton a bit longer for him to be ready, because you forget he did miss the whole of pre-season. He missed all of the off-season with his injury. So it's going to take him that little bit longer.
Fair enough. Dan, anyone you want to jump all over?
Well, Arnie already said Carolina. I'm going to say Ravens.
Not impressed with them?
Sorry, what were the 2 teams they faced?
Yeah. No, I think you can argue a lot of the same things with the Panthers.
Yeah.
In fact, those 2 teams are bordering on mirror images of each other right now.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, I would have said the Panthers if Arnie hadn't already said them, because the Panthers struggled against what should have been a gimme game against the Bills. And the Bills, that was all on the receiver. They lost by basically...
Yeah, I'd forgot about the Zay Jones.
Yeah.
It was a tough catch. It wasn't a perfect throw.
No, but that's what you paid for. But the Ravens, the Ravens, they've just faced 2 easy teams. I've not seen anything spectacular out of them. They're basically the same old Ravens. The D is pretty good, better than I thought it would be, but...
I knew the D would be good. Like, you knew they'd be tough to run on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Secondary's good. My worry was the pass rush. That's been there. It's just... losing Yonder.
Oh, that's going to be... Ooh, poor Flacco. I remember watching Flacco run away from blitzers. Ooh, it's not a pretty sight.
No, it's not. Run is an ambitious term to describe Joe Flacco on the move.
Amble.
Trundle.
Amble, Trundle, both good words. I think you can even throw, just to pile on here, I think you can throw the Seahawks in this mix because that offense is woeful. They'll win games because that defense is great, but I don't know if you can say they look like a contender based on this offense.
They are 1-1.
Oh, they're 1-1, aren't they?
Yeah,
the Packers.
Yeah,
they lost the Packers. My
Packers whooped them.
That's me brain flying. Yeah, and you'd have to imagine they're going to lose.
The thing is, though, with the Seahawks, it's kind of... Obviously, you're not going to see it. The schism that must exist in that locker room right now between the defense and the offense is going to be ridiculous.
Well, that's what all that drama talk in the off-season was with, like, the Sherman trade and stuff, and they feel like they treat Russell Wilson with kid gloves and don't hold him to the same standard. This is what got Tony Dungy fired in Tampa, by the way. I'm just saying. Yeah, and we'll all throw out a couple of teams I'll throw out some 0-2 teams like that we thought might be reasonable. Obviously, the Jets, they don't count. We knew they'd be bad. The Niners, they don't count. Whether they're done, well, just quick yes or no. So
just quickly before we do that, another unimpressive 2-0 team that I think we're just bordering on there, I'd have to say was Steelers.
Yes, actually, I forgot about the Steelers.
Been there, but
they should have been a lot better.
Expectations for that offense.
Yeah,
the defense has been better than expected.
Yeah, I know what Arnie's driving at. You'd expect, 2 of the most electric players in the league to be putting up stupid. I mean, they faced basically nothing.
Antonio Brown's got like 240 yards this year, or close to.
Yeah, but I know, but I'm talking about both players. Obviously, Le'Veon's non-existent.
Le'Veon's not got there yet, but I'm sure he'll pick it up. So the 0-2 teams. So we got the Chargers. Are they done? I'd say yes.
Yeah, in that division, they're done. There's no way.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, division, but I think they can still claw back some hope. They will have hope.
They got the Chiefs this weekend. If they can win that, maybe, but I think they lose that game and they're done.
Yeah.
The Bengals, they're done.
They're done. This isn't a shadow. I won't be surprised if they lose again this week and they go 0-3. Dalton will be benched. Yeah, Dalton's benched. I'm telling you. Wait, are they playing at? Are they?
It's at Lambeau.
It's the Bengals at Lambeau. Yeah, they're done.
The Giants, they play away to Philly this weekend.
The Giants is a problem because everyone knows the Giants always start slow and then it hits November, December time.
I'd say they're not done. I think they can still get it going.
Yeah. You think this defense can pull them out of it?
No.
Odell will still have explosive plays to put them back in the game.
Done. I know Giants-Eagles games are always weird, but I think there's a chance we see Eli die against this Eagles front at the weekend. So I think they're done. I can't see them winning that game at this point in time.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not sure how much I trust the Eagles to carry on what they're doing. The Giants, you've got to compete with.
That's fair.
Eli Manning in December is basically MVP caliber, so we've still got that to come.
But will they be in a position by then to make the most of that?
It's the NFC East. That's all I have to say.
Fair enough. The Bears. Are the Bears done?
Yeah.
I thought we concluded this. They've got Mike Glennon as a quarterback.
And no receivers.
Yeah, they're done. And lastly, the Saints. Are the Saints done?
In that division?
I think going 0-2 in that division, yeah.
Yeah, that defence is going to lose them more games.
Yeah.
So, and the offense hasn't looked great.
No, I thought it would be a massive shootout this weekend. And I didn't see Didn't see
Well,
that.
they've made this commitment to the run game, and it's not really worked.
No, they need to go back to the pass game.
Well, even then, the passing game's not looked great either.
Oh wait, actually,
Lost Brandon Cooks. They've got Willie Snead out.
wait.
They're missing Snead.
On that
I
note,
think that's.
on that note, the Saints. I'm guessing people saw the Adrian Peterson comment of I didn't sign on for 7 touches a game.
And why'd you sign that contract?
Yeah.
You signed a backups contract.
No. It's not just that. Is if you're a running back and you want to actually get touches of the ball, why in the blue hell would you sign with the Saints of all bloody teams?
Well, they've been running a lot. It's just that they're falling so far behind in games. What does he expect?
Yeah, probably should have done his research first, idiot.
Patriots could have scored 60, 70 in that one if they wanted.
Yeah, it was a good day for fantasy owners with Tom Brady. I told you last week. I said to you, Patriots never lose 2 in a row.
I said
Tom Brady
I
came
said,
in.
Angry Tom Brady. You know my rule with angry Tom Brady.
Never loses. Goes
Angry
berserk.
Tom Brady. So let's move on to week 3 with a real barn burner on Thursday coming up. We got the Rams and the Niners. Oh, Thursday night football. Come on.
This is bad. It's a bad game.
Yeah.
I expect the Rams to win this game. I mean, the Niners' defenses look pretty good.
This looked okay, but that offense, that O-line's been awful.
I mean, if you're comparing the two teams, and this is going to sound weird saying it, but the Rams are more complete, which is weird to say.
Only when
I
you
mean, Jared Goff looks fairly good.
The Rams' offense hasn't been an embarrassment.
No, Jared Goff has not made stupid mistakes. Todd Gurley
that interception at the end of that game. Like, if we're going to talk about the Rams' look this weekend, we'll just they struggled with the run. That really surprised. Is it something with Wade Phillips? Because the personnel are there to stop the run.
Yeah.
I mean, the Redskins went for like 200 yards on them.
Oh,
yeah.
What scheme?
The problem they had is they were giving up big plays.
They were
giving up big chunk
this
plays.
is what the Broncos were doing last year.
Hold on, what scheme were does Wade Phillips run? I forgot.
3-4.
3-4.
Is it 3-4?
I think this is the trouble with the Rams' defense is the fact that they are switching.
They're adjusting, yeah, but I mean, I'm just wondering. I'm just throwing that out there. Like, is Wade Phillips' defensive scheme just a bit bad against the run?
Must be
at the moment.
But yeah, I think that was a bit concerning. The pass rush wasn't quite there. I thought the defense didn't play a great game against the Skins. Allowed the Skins to control the game. The offense, it looked okay. It's obviously it came back down to earth a bit, but the offensive line is clearly much improved.
Oh yeah, Goff is more on his feet than he was last year.
Yeah, and he's
giving him time to actually think about where to throw the ball rather than just.
Yeah, he's actually resembling an NFL quarterback. I think we saw a little bit of the old Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
So it was promising for him. I think this is a good matchup for him. The Niners, I mean, what is there to say about them? That game against the Seahawks was ugly as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, their defense looks all right.
Their defense is the ones that have kept them in the games at the moment. I mean, their offense is.
You're going to go into Seattle and say, "Oh, we're going to hold them to 12 points."
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, the only thing from their offense that they're taking away at the moment is they ran all over Seattle.
Yeah, Carlos Hyde looked okay, but the pass blocking looks bad. The receiving group stinks. I mean, you just knew they weren't going to have success passing the ball.
Yeah.
Against the Seahawks, just no chance. And that's how it proved. I mean, the defense, they kept Wilson running around all day. I don't know how much of that's the quality of this front four and how much of it's the Seahawks being bad. But this Niners team just got to figure something out in the passing game.
Yeah.
So we all on the Rams to win this one?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no just to be controversial because it would be so Rams-like for them to... Oh, no. Wait, no, hold on. I forgot. The Rams have... I don't know why. The Rams play the division rivals like an elite team. It's really bizarre.
Oh. I mean, the Niners have to get a win somewhere. And home to the Rams is as good as it gets.
Right, I'm calling this now. If the Rams win against the Niners this game, the Cardinals will be the team that gives them their first W because Cardinals.
That's certainly possible. So we'll move on from that one. All right, Anna, you said Rams, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
I'm Rams for the record.
Okay, so you've gone back on your flimsy choice. Next up, the London game. Oh, this one. We're not going to see a lot of points this weekend again. We've got Baltimore against Jacksonville. Baltimore looking very good defensively once again. I mean, it was the Browns, but...
this game is going to go the exact same way as the Tennessee game against Jacksonville. The Ravens will stuff the run. They will force Bortles to throw. Bortles will make mistakes. Ravens win. Simple. That is the way to beat this Jacksonville team, and we showed that this weekend.
Oh, actually,
can this Ravens offense have success against this Jags team?
Yeah.
If they stuff the run, yes.
Also,
but if they can't stop the run, then no.
Yeah, but I mean, the Ravens offense, how do you see them scoring on the Jags?
Running.
Yeah, just run the ball. They showed this against Tennessee. And
exact same as
they have run the ball really well, but Yonder being missing.
Well, this will be a test for it.
Yeah.
The Jags have seen that the front seven for the Jags haven't been able to stuff the run as much as they've stuffed the passing game. So by running the ball up the gut, they seem to be weak there. So, I mean, this is where teams are getting them. But I fully expect the Ravens to come across with this win. I think it will be close because I just don't believe these two offenses.
Would you think we see 80 or so run plays in this game?
There will be a lot of running plays because they're still not giving the ball to Flacco and they're still not giving the ball to Bortles. And when they are giving the ball to either of those, we see stupid turnovers.
Flacco's been okay. He's just barely.
I'm just going from previous career.
Yeah, the Ravens looked the same again last week. They ran the ball a lot, ran it effectively.
Yeah,
Flacco was efficient.
This game will be over very quick.
Jags, they just fell apart in the second half. They were well in this game.
Yes, they were.
It's
a bit of a slugger in the first half, but...
Well, I think it's one of those where people are saying, oh, look how many points the Jags gave up. I think they just got gassed.
Yeah, their defense was on the field a long time.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't get a first down to save their lives in the first half, the Jags. And whilst, the Titans' offense wasn't doing much, at least it was, getting maybe 2 or 3 first downs on some of its drives. And it does add up.
Going. I mean, the first half we weren't getting the run going as much, but they were on there. I mean, if I remember correctly, going in the middle of the second quarter, the Jags had the ball. I think it was something like 17 minutes, and we only had it about 9.
Mm.
By the end of the game, that completely flipped. We had the ball pretty much the whole of the defense of the second half.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is you can't win consistently if your game plan is we're just going to hide our quarterback.
Yeah.
Fournette has faced as many... It's like watching Adrian Peterson in his prime in terms of the fronts that he's facing. Because they're paying no respect to Blake Bortles whatsoever.
No.
And you've just got this rookie with a mediocre offensive line in front of him just running into 8 or 9 guys.
Yeah. I mean, although both the picks were not completely his fault because they were tip balls, one of them was completely overthrown or it was behind him. I can't remember which one now. But the first pick was just a tip ball at the line.
That happens.
Well, yeah. Also, speaking about the Jags, may I also add, and this is more of a dig at the bloody NFL Network, as always, is crowning a team as having potential #1 defense in football after beating the bloody Texans, of all things, in week 1 was ridiculous. I mean, okay, yeah, Tennessee, then, they struggled a bit in the first half, feeling each other out, as it were. But the problem is, I know they're on the field a long time, but elite defenses get their own asses off the field. This is the problem. And you saw none of that.
The Giants, you saw the same thing happen to the Giants in the first 2 games. If your offense is that bad, your defense does get tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I mean, Jacksonville they impressed me in the first half. They kept the Titans under wraps. We'll get onto more issues I have with the Titans during that game when we get to that game. But the thing is the secondary.
Their secondary still look good.
The secondary it still looked good, but they still couldn't make plays when it mattered. And I did not see hide or hair of any of that front seven getting pressure on Mariota. To be honest with you,
no, they did a poor job in that regard.
Yeah, but I think that has more down to our O-line than their pass rush. But the thing is that Jacksonville struggled was not defending the receivers because they did a great job of that. It's defending the tight ends. They have not. Okay, yeah, it was a big matchup difference for them. It was difficult with Delaney, but they struggled against the tight end in the game.
Made some big plays over the course of the game, Delaney Walker.
I think the game plan.
He's just a good player.
Yeah, but I think the game plan for the Ravens going in is all they need to do is watch.
Well, defensively, you know what it is.
Yeah, but if you're the Ravens going in, you're gonna. Yeah, you watch the film from the Titans game. You see how. You see how the offensive line played their front seven, and you're like, right, we just need to emulate that and run the ball consistently.
They don't have the personnel for that. It's just.
No, they don't.
The difference would be in this game will be that Jacksonville will get more pressure on Flacco as they got on Mariota.
Oh yeah, a lot more. The reason I think the Ravens simply win this game is I trust Flacco not to make mistakes. I think these teams are very, very similar at this point in time, but one has a quarterback that I trust not to crap the bed.
There's also the other thing as well is Flacco has the ever-present threat of stretching the field with that cannon. Mariota doesn't.
Bortles has a cannon.
No, I'm talking, but Ravens offensively, unlike when they faced the Titans. Yeah, but he's got a good arm,
So
but he's not got a Flacco.
We're in agreement with the Ravens there.
Yeah, Ravens.
Fair news. So we're unanimous again. We've got Denver heading to Buffalo.
I think we can keep this one short.
The hit keeps coming. So Denver looked great.
We talked about earlier.
Almost a perfect game for them against the Cowboys. Stuff the run, stuff the pass the ball effectively, ran the ball effectively. That's an A+ performance, isn't it, guys? Got turnovers.
Buffalo looked like Buffalo.
Buffalo's defense looked good.
Yeah,
I've got to give Buffalo
their front
credit.
Four is legit. Their front four's legit. I think their defense is okay, but this offense, it's like Tyrod Taylor is just on. It's like Michael Vick in that on any given snap, he either looks like a genius or like he's never played football in his life.
Yeah.
Can't make the easy throws, but he'll make a ridiculously hard one. Like if that Zay Jones one, if a guy had been belting him after he'd spun out of a tackle, he'd probably made that pass. Yeah. It's too easy a pass. That's why he cocked it up. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll give credit to the Buffalo defense in that Carolina game because they played better than I'd expect them to. But there's obviously issues in Carolina on the offensive side. But the Broncos are going to run away with this. Taylor, he can't pull his chicanery with the no-fly zone not happening.
Yeah,
I think we're looking at a repeat performance of the Dallas game with the Broncos all the way. I'll happily call it 40 points. 20 of which scored on defense.
They blow them out.
Oh yeah.
For Buffalo to get anything in this, they need LaShawn McCoy to go off hard.
Yeah, but he's got to go off against that Broncos defense and Von Miller.
I think he'll have some success. He's a different sort of runner than Ezekiel Elliott, but yeah, I think the Broncos win this game.
Well, I suppose the main thing is LaShawn McCoy will keep fighting to the end, unlike some lazy asses who give up.
We'll get to that later. I'm looking forward to getting to that. Should have got memes. There's so many of them.
Yeah, well, I know. I'll look for some now while we discuss it. Carry on.
Okay, we'll move on to the next game. We've got New Orleans heading to Carolina, needing to save their season. Once again, the New Orleans defense.
This is kind of a hard one to call, but
we're talking about. I just want to talk about the New Orleans defense because it brings me so much joy seeing how inept they are once again. After people saying in preseason, "Oh, they're looking good," it's like no, they've still got slow linebackers who can't cover people. Yeah. The secondary's got 3 rookies in it. They benched Kenny Vaccaro because he got gronked so badly. and they're looking to trade him, which is good because I've been saying for ages that Vaccaro is a liability in coverage and just not a great player. So good to see the Saints agree with me. That might actually be worrying if they agree with me about something on the defensive player. I don't know. But yeah, they looked... And the offense, we kind of mentioned this earlier, still isn't clicking. Run game's been mediocre. Breeze doesn't look entirely comfortable with these receivers.
No, he doesn't at all. I mean, the thing is as well, is this game could go so many different ways. I mean, Carolina could get off to a lucky 3-0 start. With the way their offense is playing, I don't think it matters against this defense. With the way New Orleans are struggling on offense,
if Carolina want to get on track, this is the game to do it.
This game could go either way, but I do think New Orleans will take this one and try and salvage something from
this. They just need it that bad.
Yeah, they need it so much more, and I think they will. I think they will bring this home.
Fair enough. I mean, it's just so hard to pick the Saints at the moment. The thing, you know what? This is a thought I just had actually. Michael. Everyone was going nuts about Michael's potential this off season.
Yes.
I think people need to remember going into last season, he was their number 3 guy.
Yeah.
Behind Brandon Cooks and Willie Snead, and he was part of a myriad of weapons. And now with Snead out with the suspension, that's just not the case. He's just at the end of the day, he's a good, possibly a very good, maybe even great possession receiver.
Yeah.
Ted Ginn isn't enough. It's just it's not been there.
That's why they are relying on the run so much as well, is because they don't have these receivers.
Yeah, and I think they're waiting for that breakout game from Alvin Kamara. I don't know if the Panthers are the team where that happens.
That's not going to happen in this game, though.
And the Panthers, we kind of discussed them a little earlier. They've been very unimpressive in terms of their victories because this offense just has, I think, issues all across the board, frankly. I like their weapons, but the offensive line and Cam Newton's current level of play isn't enough to make the most of them. Defensively, they've played well, but I just need to see them play against a legitimate offense. So I think this week, at least, we'll get a better idea of where this defense is.
Yeah.
So, you going for the Saints in a game?
I'm for the Saints on this one. Yeah.
They do need it. Dan, what do you think?
Sorry, I was looking up names.
Saints or Panthers?
Oh God.
It's in Carolina.
Oh, so it's woeful defense versus woeful offense. Great. I'm gonna say tie. I don't think either team's got what it takes to actually. I'm not kidding. Mark my words. This will be. Hey, past 2 years we've had at least one.
That defense isn't good enough for a tie.
Yeah, neither's Carolina's. So I reckon it'll be a tie. I reckon it's going to be a low-scoring, ugly game, and it's going to be a tie.
You've predicted 2 ties now, and there's only 1 game gone into overtime.
Actually, Arnie, I'm with you on this. I think the Saints pull this one out. They need to win this game so bad. The defense, maybe it can get on track a little bit with this Carolina offense.
I just trust Breeze more than Cam. I think that's where this game comes out.
What we've seen from Cam.
Yeah.
Just missing routine throws. And we'll move on to the next. Oh man, another ugly one. There's a lot of bad games this week, guys. And we've got Pittsburgh heading to Soldier Field to take on the Bears.
Again, another quick talk.
The Bears got shellacked at the weekend. Nothing went right for them. They were
Steelers win. Le'Veon Bell has a big game.
Well, the Bears, I don't know, because the Bears did stop the run well at the weekend, but I think Roethlisberger will just shred them, and I can't see the Bears' offense getting too much done. Steelers, once again, fairly underwhelming. The offense clearly not clicking on all cylinders. The offensive line hasn't played that well thus far.
No, it hasn't. And you've got to remember as well, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Roethlisberger, and Martavis Bryant have only started 13 games together.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
That's out of the 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So they're still trying to get that chemistry together.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good game for them to get it, I think.
Oh, yeah. This is pretty much just a nice practice, I think.
Well, I mean, the Bears just have so many issues with all the injuries and the lack of talent at the skill positions. I think it's going to be a rough one. So we all got the Steelers here?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. First of the potentially really interesting matchups, we've got Atlanta heading to Detroit to take on the Lions, a battle of 2-0 teams. I think this one's really interesting. Detroit can try and prove that they are for real in this game.
Well, I think this game again comes down to the offenses. I don't think defenses will play a huge part in this game. The way Atlanta have been known to play, I think the defense will get shredded. I don't think Atlanta relies on the run too much in this game.
I mean, looking at last week, I mean, everything went right for Atlanta. Green Bay had a bunch of injuries.
Yeah.
And the offense came out, looked more like what we saw last year. They played fast on defense. It was a good all-round performance.
Yeah.
Could have been worse for the Packers. They kind of took their foot off the gas. And Detroit kind of squeaked their way by the Giants. It was comfortable, but it wasn't convincing to me.
No.
So this Lions defense has been statistically very good and they've played well, but they played against rubbish. This is the perfect game to me. You're at home, statement type game. Can you slow down this offense?
Yeah.
And I think Stafford will do a good job. I think the Lions offense is a solid group. I think they'll have some success here, but I just can't see. I can see the Falcons defense making a couple more plays, and I'm not sure Detroit's got the guys there defensively to keep up. So I've got the Falcons taking this one.
I'm going the other way on this one. I'm going with Detroit.
And
I think
right.
They've got some great pass rushers there, especially with Ezekiel Ansah. I think he will disrupt that backfield and get to Matt Ryan and put him a bit under pressure in this game.
Well, the Falcons' offensive line hasn't been as good as it was last year thus far, so it's certainly possible. I think this game will be quite close. I just see Atlanta winning a shootout. Dan, how about you?
I'm going to meme the buggery out of this and say that as long as Atlanta aren't up, 28 points going into the fourth quarter against Matthew Stafford, they might win. But my money's on Stafford, to be honest with you, memes aside.
You're going with the Lions as well?
Yeah, mainly because I also don't like Atlanta. So I'd rather the Lions win. I know they beat us, but I just don't like Atlanta. So no,
okay.
I think the Lions. I don't know. I think they could possibly be the better team, but this is going to be the actual test for them this season.
Detroit need to win this game to get people to take them seriously.
Where are they? Who's
Detroit?
Detroit's at home. Oh, okay. If Atlanta were at home, I'd say Atlanta, but no, definitely. I think Detroit. It's not much of a home field advantage, but Atlanta just don't. Sometimes they don't travel all that well. I know it's not far to go from Atlanta to Detroit, but still.
It's quite far.
Compared to travelling to Zona, no, it's not.
It's still pretty far. We'll go to everyone's game of the week. Cleveland heading to Indianapolis. Who's looking forward to this one? Someone's has to go.
Oh, God.
I'm not going to call this game. I don't want to call this game.
I don't want to watch this game.
Oh, the Colts were better this weekend.
No, they
made
no,
less mistakes.
No, the Colts were not better.
An NFL team.
No, they weren't. No, the Colts were not better this week. The Cardinals were inept this week.
Yeah, but they still.
I'm going with the Browns.
16 points, including overtime.
Yeah,
whatever. There's a big step up to giving up 42 points to Jared Goff and friends.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, if we're going based on talent on the team alone, which is what we have to do, Browns all the way. They've got more talent at positions. Indeed.
The Browns need to have this one.
I'm going with the Browns in this game because I think the O-liners look better. Not that there's any pass rush in Indy.
The Browns' defense has looked okay. I thought at the weekend against the Ravens, they're all right. They're just not making the big plays.
Yeah.
They're not torched like they were last year. They're actually tackling people. It's just they're struggling to have a real impact on the game. Kaiser, this will be a good game to watch DeShone Kaiser and see where he is, because he's going to have a lot of time in the pocket based on what we've seen from the Indianapolis pass rush. I just don't know who he throws to. I mean, if the Colts are going to win a game whilst Andrew Luck's out, this has to be it. You're at home. It's the Browns. They don't have a huge amount of weapons. But
I see them getting their first win of the season here. I don't really want to call this game because it's like calling a turd on fire.
The last game I'm going to watch.
I think this is.
I always save for last, and this feels like the worst one. So I'm going to go with Browns as well.
I can safely say this is the Who Cares Bowl. It really is.
Yeah.
And this is important for the draft position.
It's important for the Browns so they can turn around and go, yeah, our first round picks weren't completely wasted.
So who are you going with?
Browns, they're
Okay.
I can't
Browns
believe
is
it. Only when you line someone up against Indy can you say this. The Browns are the more complete team.
Hey, if Luck was there, I'd be all over the Colts. Alas, he's out once again. Yeah, the Colts. I mean, what does Ed say about them last week? Like,
Arizona were nabbed.
it looked better, but
No, Arizona were nabbed.
I mean, they could cover. That was progress.
Oh no, sorry, they didn't make stupid mistakes.
Yeah. Brissett looked okay for a guy who's been there like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a positive. Frank Gore can still run a little bit. But yeah, this team's bad. Not a lot of positives to take from it. I think this one could be a really good one. My beloved Bucks heading to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Which, let's face it, Pirates and Vikings is a cool battle. This one for me just comes down to whether Bradford plays. I think, the Bucks are going to be tested this week. That offense with all the new toys for Jameis, we'll get to see what they've got.
Actually, on the Bradford front, he is actually last I checked, he's actively practicing. So, if that might.
No, planning to practice.
No, I read it as actually participated.
Fair enough. He may well be. Last I saw was he's hoping to. I wouldn't be surprised if they sat him, because bear in mind this is the knee he's had reconstructed twice.
Yeah, but this is also one of those games that they it's an NFC opponent. They have to pull it out and win. So
I don't know. I think if there's any kind of doubts there, I mean, if he plays, I think this is a really good match. Buccaneers offense looked solid. I don't think they had to show too much last week against the Bears. Jameis looked more consistent and made better decisions. Like, did all the things I wanted to see from him. And the run game ground the Bears down in time, and defensively they looked superb. The Vikings, I mean, how can you really judge the Vikings' performance? I mean, the offense with Case Keenum looked bad. The O-line looked bad again. I thought they played very poorly. Dalvin Cook had very little room to work with. Defensively, they put up a good fight against the Steelers, but in the end, just got wore down. Which has been the story with a lot of these good defenses this year. That offense, like Case Keenum, man.
Well, it's going to happen with Case Keenum, isn't it? Really, but I think this is going to be.
It will be the same way if Case Keenum plays this weekend. You're going to see the same thing happen, because this Buccaneers defense with Case Keenum at quarterback is not going to lose to Dalvin Cook, because they can stop the run.
Yeah.
So I think if Keenum's in there, I think this is a fairly comfortable win for the Buccaneers. It just becomes a case of Jameis not messing it up. With Bradford there, what do you guys think?
I think with Bradford there, you got yourself a ball game. But I think the other thing, even without Bradford there, though, you've got to bear in mind you've got, you should win, but you've got to be really watching out for how that Buccaneers offense deals with that defense. This is going to be the first real defense they face this year, and I think that's going to be, you'll be able to judge a lot about how your offense is gelling from facing the Vikings. They have a very, very good secondary, very good front seven.
This game is going to come down to which of these offensive line performs better. I think both of these teams have really strong fronts, and whichever one does a better job blocking is going to win this game. And I prefer the Vikings front, but I just like Jameis's ability to play under pressure better than I like Bradford I've already said, what happens if Keenan plays. But I like Jameis's ability to escape, make plays in a broken pocket. And I think the Buccaneers are just going to be able to squeak this one out, but it could go either way. It's a good matchup. How about you guys?
I'd agree with you. I think the Buccaneers will take this one as long as the offense looks a bit more on tune than it did last week.
It looked on tune last week.
I've got this.
It looked good. It just the rush. There's a bit of rush there.
Yeah, I mean, I've got this. This is dependent on obviously who's officially starting at QB. Bradford starts. I'm going to say close game, but I think the Vikings might just edge it out because they've got the better secondary and Jameis is prone to whoopsies. With Keenan there, the Bucs should win a fairly comfortable game, but I feel uncomfortable calling this until Bradford's confirmed or what.
I think with Bradford there, I think this is one of the toughest games to call, and I think it'll be a really interesting one. Kind of hoping he plays for my entertainment, but totally hoping he doesn't because Buccaneers fan. Next up, we've got a battle between 1-1 teams, so that makes it sound like a really close game. We've got Houston heading to Foxborough to take on the Pats.
It's not a close game.
Not even remotely close. If there's one team that's proved year in, year out that they can basically eliminate JJ Watt from the equation, it's the Pats.
It will be the exact same game as it was last year.
JJ's not quite being himself at the moment.
Bar the spear.
He's playing solid.
Bar the spear.
Bar the spear.
May I also add, by the way, for people listening, that's the play of the year. By the way, him spearing that centre, play of the year. Forget Wentz's dance around the pocket in week 1 against the Redskins. No, JJ Watt spearing a dude, best play ever.
Deshaun Watson's run was also mighty impressive.
Was it a spear overlaid with Jim Ross's commentary? No, it was not. The meme wins.
It was a great play. I thought you love electrifying quarterback runs.
I do, but I also watched a 7-foot monster guy spear a fat dude. It was awesome.
You should watch more Braun Strowman. That's your jam. But yeah, I mean, Houston once again. Offensively, they look bad. They look bad. It's like Watson looked like a bit scared early in the game, but I think he improved as the game went on. But their O-line's just trash.
The problem I have is he's very quick to take off in the pocket. He's very quick to take off in the pocket.
Well, I mean, I would be too. He watched the Jags in the first half. And Geno Atkins was just unplayable in that game. Defensively, the pressure's not quite getting there. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought this. I thought that was bizarre. Even in the Jacksonville game. I mean, they're on paper, they've got the best front seven. They've got like one of the most terrifying, in fact, the most terrifying rusher in the league with JJ Watt. Yeah. And I've not seen diddly poo from them. It's really weird.
Well, they're getting pressure. It's just it's not doing enough to influence. The defense is playing okay, but I mean the Patriots. I expect them to win this comfortably. Belichick. The Pats looked okay this week. I mean the offense looked great, but it's the Saints, and it was Angry Brady. Defensively, much better, much more promising.
Yeah, I mean the thing is though with the Pats. Every year their game plan for when they face the Texans seems to be eliminate JJ Watt, easy game. every year in, year out. They
Well,
eliminate JJ Watt from the equation, easy game.
I don't even think that's the thing. Like, Brady's going to get some level of points against a good defence. I don't know if I trust Deshaun Watson to have any success against the Patriots.
No, Belichick does love rookies, facing rookies, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So we're all going Patriots here.
Yeah.
Cool. It seemed you just. I quite liked. I like Deshaun Watson. I think he could end up being a good player. But yeah, this is running into a buzzsaw.
Yeah, if there was ever a case of a rookie facing a defense, and welcome to the NFL moment. Rookie facing Belichick defense in Foxborough. Yeah, good luck, son. Good luck.
Yeah. So we got the Dolphins heading to New York to take on the Jets. So Miami 2-0.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the Miami game?
I caught the first half.
I watched most of it. I think Jay Cutler looked really good.
It looked okay. It was very, very conservative. They didn't show too much.
Yeah. He's still got the cannon.
He's still getting outside the pocket, and he can still make those plays.
He can still move. Yeah, his pocket movement was very good.
And he's still got the cannon.
Devontae Parker looked
really good. Still got a cannon. But this game really was all about Jay Ajayi.
Oh yeah, he just carried on where he left off. Yeah. He's just a machine. He runs. The thing is, I think he looks for people to tackle him as well,
or to try and tackle him. Yeah, he had a spin move in this game.
He did.
He actually used the move. It was amazing. Yeah, he was great, and based on what I saw from the Jets the weekend, didn't expect Jay Ajayi to have a big game. Dolphins receiving group looks pretty good. I'm expecting maybe to see the the Dolphins try and get Cutler a bit more comfortable, maybe spread the field a bit more this week.
I was actually
defensively though, I thought they were a bit lacking. They tightened up in the red zone, but there was not much pass rush in that game against the Chargers.
No, there wasn't. But on the offensive side, actually, this is one of those ideal games for the offensive coordinator to open up the game plan more with Jay Cutler. Because it's the Jets. Come on. I mean,
that's my fault. If you're going to get an opportunity to get him comfortable, try some deep shots, get him acclimatized a bit, it's probably the Jets.
Yeah, just make sure you protect him from that front seven, please. Whatever you do.
That said, though, I want to go through one thing actually. Did you guys know Charles Harris's nickname and why? Because it's pretty good. The first round rookie.
No.
His nickname is Black Ice because when you see him, it's too late. Pretty good.
I love it.
Yeah, that's quite good. I like that one. The Jets. I mean, they were pretty game in the first half in that one.
They seemed to surprise them, and then it just all went apart after that.
Yeah, the defense forgot how to stop anything. The safeties have both looked all right. I like Jamal Adams a lot. They're not getting the play from Leonard Williams and Mohamed Wilkerson that I think they're going to need if they're going to win a game this year, though.
Are they going to win a game this year? Do they face themselves?
They play the Bills again. They've got the Bills again. They could maybe win that.
Yeah. Good luck with that. I mean, this is becoming closer and closer to a catchphrase for me now, but it's just going to be a case of the Jets doing Jet things and just sucking.
Hey man, if the Jets beat the Patriots this year, that's going to be the best thing ever in Foxborough. Like we can just end football. The best thing ever has already happened.
Yep.
Actually, no, the butt fumble already happened. That was the best thing ever. If Brady butt fumbles against the Jets in Foxborough,
poetic justice.
It'll be the best thing ever. So we all got the Dolphins in this one.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Move on to another interesting game. The Giants fighting for their lives against the Eagles. The Giants offense still a mess. Giants defense still very good. The Eagles played a really interesting game with the Chiefs. I really enjoyed it. But the O-line struggled.
Well,
there was a couple of plays. Their O-line looked fantastic though. Like I think there was one play, and Carson Wentz had like 11 seconds or something in the pocket. It was ridiculous.
The thing is, I worry with two things with the Eagles: the secondary and the run game.
Yeah, the run game.
Running on this Giants team. I mean, until the second half when the Giants get exhausted from all the 3 and outs. But
yeah, again, it's a tough one to call, but it depends if Eli can get anything going this week.
No chance. That Eagles pass rush. Eli's like streak of starting games could end after this week.
Yeah, and I think
I started seeing ghosts in that last game. Like he's impressive that's not there. I mean, it's about to be there because that line sucks.
I think this could be spelling the end for the Giants. I mean, this could potentially be their 0-3.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's do or die. It is do or die. They're done.
Here's the other question though: is if they go 0-3 and keep dropping games, are we going to see the end of the Eli Manning era in New York?
I think you would certainly have to consider it. I mean, the problem you've got is, like, say they were to stink, maybe win 4 or 5 games, because that defense will win them some games against some bad teams.
Yeah.
But if that were to happen, do you throw a highly drafted rookie out behind that offensive line? Heck no.
Build up that offensive line then.
Build that O-line. You do not want a guy getting card. At some point, I'm going to explain what being card is. I'm sure older fans who start watching around the time I did understand that.
Got the Eagles for this. I mean,
yeah.
The thing is, like, yeah, I mean, you can tout the Giants' defense as being good and everything, but let's be honest here. This is basically
not good. They're great.
This is an elite team facing a team that's in complete disarray. The Eagles.
I don't know if the Eagles are an elite team yet. I think they're a good team.
Well, they hung in with Kansas. I'm willing to say they're an elite team at the moment, but
You believe that much in Carson Wentz at this point?
I believe in the team, not just the QB. I mean, they've got quite a lot going on in Philly. Now, normally, New York Philly games are crazy, and they're coin flips.
That's why the mere fact it's a Giants Eagles game means I can't rule out a Giants win.
Yeah, because shenanigans could happen, but realistically, the Eagles have the better and the more stable team. And we're not looking at McNabb, Vic era Eagles where on any given play they can do something boneheaded. Wentz is a pretty solid quarterback who makes good decisions so far. So,
well, he has his bonehead moments.
Yeah, well,
I would argue I've seen many a bonehead moment from him.
I think just being drafted by an NFC East team gives you the boneheaded status. But no, I think the Eagles are going to win this handily, and the Giants are going to keep on that sinking ship. They're just going to keep going.
Arnie?
Yeah, I'm with that. I think the Eagles win this one.
Yeah, I've got the Eagles as well. I can't pick the Giants unless they're playing someone real bad at the moment. I will let you take the lead with this one, Arnie. The Titans head into... It's in Seattle, isn't it?
No, it's at Tennessee.
Is it Tennessee? Ooh.
Yeah, it's at Tennessee.
There you go.
This is a big game.
Tennessee need to win this one, surely. Like to show people that they are, the hype is real and they're a legit
showcase for our offense. This is where it comes from. I think the true test for us winning this game comes down on the offense. It comes down to our O-line and running the ball like we did last week. If we do that, I think we have no problems in this game. I mean, we saw last week that the Seahawks got gashed by the run. They don't seem to be able to stop the run as well as they can stop the pass. So I think that should be a key game plan. I think obviously
what we've seen from the Titans receivers at the minute, that chemistry is still developing. The Seahawks are. Yeah.
This is a game where I don't see Mariota going to his safety blanket in Delaney a lot. I think they do have good coverage over tight ends in Seattle.
They do, yeah.
Especially with Wagner in the middle. That will be a difficult matchup there. The O-line play, I think, would be fine. I think we'd be able to keep Mariota upright. I think we might give up a sack, as we have done in the past 2 games.
A sack or 2. I mean, you got Cliff Averill, Bennett there. The pass was good.
But if the flip on the other side of the ball, I think the main pressure is getting to Wilson.
That's easy.
Just containing him. You're going to get to him.
Yeah. containing him, keeping him in the pocket. But the other main thing is the Titans have always struggled with scrambling quarterbacks. And the secondary, even though the secondary looked a lot better last week, okay, yeah, it was against Bortles, but it still looked a lot better. I loved Adore last week. He's starting to impress me more and more as the weeks go on. But it's keeping the receivers on track. Like, we can't let the receivers get away from them. I think that's going to be our main area of concern is Russell Wilson on the move. We need to keep him contained. But from last week's game, the defense impressed me. I think the linebackers looked really good. Woodyard had himself a hell of a game. I think he racked up like 12 tackles or something. Still not a lot of pressure from the inside line.
They've struggled so far.
It's still coming from
the line. Against the run, but they were against the run in this one. But then you guys run blitz so heavily in that game. I'm expecting to see you be really aggressive.
I think we will be in this game. I think there's going to be a lot of Morgan and Arapo sightings, as there has been in the last 2 weeks as well. That seems to be where the pressure's coming from. But I think it will be for quarterback wise, I think it's a great matchup, great comparisons as well for the both quarterbacks. I think it will be a great game. Obviously, I've got the Titans winning this game, but I think it will be a difficult game. It all comes down to if we can run the ball.
There's also another thing, actually. This is one of those factors that's very rarely talked about, but you'll understand why I'm talking. Arnie especially will. Is you've got one of the most hot-headed defenses in football, and they are aggressive. Dealing with Taylor Lewan, he needs to make sure he does. But we both know this is a serious issue. Point, to be fair. Yeah, this is a legitimate point. Lewan needs to have a cool head. He cannot afford to get ejected again, because otherwise that left side collapses.
Yeah, the one thing that I mentioned, I think, to both of you after watching the game last week, and this is the one thing I think we might have issues with, is we had no flags on the defensive side, but we had 5 penalties on the O-line, and they were all holding calls. I mean, we know that Seattle can get to the quarterback. With that, there might be some more holding calls in this game. We have to limit the holding, and we have to limit the angriness that the O-line. I mean, we've seen over the past 2 years, Quinton Spain got ejected, Taylor Lewan got ejected. So that has to.
It's quite funny. He may be long gone, but the legacy of Jeff Fisher lives on with the undisciplined O-line play, with just the sheer aggression they have.
The thing is, like, the Seahawks were. It was the same again. Defensively, they look great. The offense is just such a concern. Dan, who have you got winning this one?
I know the Seahawks are in my division. I'm not actually being biased. I actually think the Titans get this one because the Seahawks are a bit too one-dimensional. And that O-line they've got in Seattle going up against Jarrell Casey and Brian Arakpo, Derek Morgan. We could see a multi-sack game from all 3 of those players. The only thing
Casey's having a down year.
Yeah, the only other thing actually, and
he got his money.
Arnie didn't actually bring this up. I'm kind of surprised. One thing I want to see from Tennessee on the offense, going to be running the ball, is allow the runners to actually develop throughout the drive. This is a big because when we were watching the game live at the Tennessee games, they kept chopping and changing backs, which is an issue.
That's because I wasn't aware of the DeMarco Murray injury.
Yeah, but they did it week 1 as well.
He came out with Murray.
Yeah. Do we think this is Derek Henry's team now? As a running back?
No.
Really?
It's not. Archie has clearly come out and said...
Do you think it should be?
Not quite yet. I think he's a little bit off. I still think it's DeMarco's team. I think if we see more bad games from DeMarco, then yeah. But we know DeMarco can still have those plays and explosive plays, and he does keep that team going. But as far as Malaki has said, it's still his backfield. It's still DeMarco's.
Yeah, I suppose.
I think you need to tilt towards Derrick Henry. Something doesn't look right with Murray right now, whether he's hurt. I think
he's got hamstring injuries. I don't think he'll be starting this week. I think Derrick Henry will be getting the start this week.
So I'm going to agree with you guys. Based on what I've seen from the Seahawks, I think the Titans can win this one.
Yeah,
it'll be a close game. Don't get me wrong.
And also,
yeah, I mean, it's hard to score points on this to these
and
guys.
I'm not sure if Arnie agrees with me about this as well. Is the first 2 weeks of the Titan. One thing I want to see them to stop doing is the ultra conservative play calling. They're not.
I'm not sure this is the week to try and open it up.
Well, okay, probably not this week, but at some point I'd like them to actually get Mariota to actually do more than throw shorts or just hand off for the first half. Yeah, they need to be aggressive. They've got the tools there. This is the thing, and I said this in the preseason podcast. I think the Titans have got the tools there to be offensively awesome. I think.
Yeah, we need more. He's still got to get on the same page as the new receivers, and Mario is actually having some struggles with throwing the ball at the moment. I don't know if you've seen he's overthrowing or underthrowing routes, but especially on the pick.
Don't look great at them.
Here's another thing as well, based off last week. Arnie, do you think we're going to see more of your new favourite player at tight end coming in for double tight end sets?
Yeah, well, that's the key thing in this game. Is that actually I did want to bring that up actually. So thank you for reminding me. Last week, the first half, we were in 3-4 receiver sets, and we just looked uncomfortable. And then second half, we went to 2-3 tight end sets, and we looked more of a whole group. That's one thing I want to see moving forward is just keep the 2-3 tight end sets. We're a better team that way.
And your super speedy tight end. I forget his name.
He did surprise me with that speed, I have to admit.
What was his name? I keep forgetting it.
Johnny Smith.
Johnny Smith.
I'm inclined to agree there. We have spent a bit of time on that one. This is why Arnie need to start doing preview and review episodes. Then you can talk Titans till your little heart's content.
I tried to keep that quick.
Yeah, that's probably.
It doesn't work.
That's my bad.
We learned it last week. It doesn't work.
That's my bad.
That's why I don't talk about the Bucks all day, because I already have.
Yeah, that's my bad. That's flag on the play for leading conversation.
That's all right. It's good conversation. But yeah, do an episode on it. Next up, we got the Chargers heading to... the Chiefs are heading to LA. Chiefs very impressive so far. Chargers have been okay. They're just... There's something about this team. They just can't win in the fourth quarter. They're
struggling on special teams.
They're the masters of their own demise.
They are. They've been like that for the last few years. They're really struggling on special teams.
All right, I've got to criticise Anthony Lynn here. I mean, I've already done it in both of the reviews I've done for this Chargers team.
Yeah.
He has been... Or it might fall on Rivers. Actually, no. Their game management has been horrible. It has been horrible. They barely ran the ball in the second half of that game. And they were doing a good job containing the Dolphins. The Dolphins were down with 12 minutes to go, 7 points. You keep them out of the end zone, how do you lose that game?
Yeah. I thought the Chargers played really well in that first half.
They ran the ball twice.
Yeah.
And then, that last drive, I don't know what they were doing. They did this on the Monday game. It's just dawdling around, no urgency. Settled for a 47-yarder?
41, I think.
No, it was longer than that. It was a 47, 46-yarder. You're settling for that. You've still got some time on the clock. And they did that thing where Rivers decides to go to the fall over on the guy's favourite hash mark. Yeah. The Dolphins made a terrible decision and called a timeout when the Chargers were trying to do the emergency run everyone onto the field and kick it as time expires thing.
They had enough time on the clock to run another run play.
Not now, because they didn't have a timeout. They had enough time to run a sideline route of some description.
Yeah.
Unbelievable stuff. Just, the masters of their own demise. You know, the offense looked shaky again, but the defense is playing well.
Yeah.
That game once again. Melvin Ingram is having himself a season.
He has looked incredible.
I mean, in this game, I'd say Houston and Ingram have been the two best defensive players I've seen thus far this season, and they're both in this one. The Chargers' offense still not quite going, struggling to run block. Rivers is sort of starting these games really slowly and picking it up late. The Chiefs, they've just been all round really impressive.
Yeah.
So, we talked
about the Chiefs earlier. I've still got the Chiefs taking this game, and obviously I think that knocks the Chargers completely out of contention. Yeah. But I think they won't have the same success on the offense as they've had in the past games. I think
I think
the
this
Chargers 7 is going to give them a couple more fits than they've had in the past couple of weeks. But with the way the Chargers have been playing, you've just got to expect the Chiefs to win.
I think the Chargers have played all right. It's just, the Chiefs.
I mean, shooting themselves in their own feet.
Yeah, that's just Charger football.
Yeah.
The Chiefs at the minute, the way they're playing, I can't pick against them. They're great on both sides of the ball. So I'm going with the Chiefs. Dan, who you got?
I've got the Chiefs, obviously. They are, as far as I'm concerned, the team to beat this year now. It's just...
I'd never see you saying that about an Alex Smith team.
I'm sorry, how many NFL fans thought they'd ever say that about an Alex Smith team?
First off, I have been bigging the Chiefs up all off season.
Did I say Chiefs or did I say Alex Smith team?
Knows how good I've been saying this Chiefs team is. I'm just being proved right. The offense has surprised me. I didn't think they'd be as dynamic as they've been. And I really like Kareem Hunt. Again, that's another player I've been fortunate to be correct on thus far. We'll move on to the next one, and another team fighting to save their season. The Bengals against the very beat-up Packers.
Would you really bet against Aaron Rodgers with that Bengals team?
I'm not betting. I can't bet the Bengals. The Bengals have the same thing as the Giants right now. The Bengals' defense, again, their defense has played quite well.
And I'm pretty sure
their offense is atrocious.
Well, I think the pertinent question I asked you before we started the show was, are the Packers at home? Which the answer was...
Yeah. At Lambeau.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau against that Bengals team that can't do anything offensively. No.
If these Packers injuries sort of drag on and they have a bunch of guys missing, the Bengals have a shot. But this Bengals offense is just doing nothing well at the moment. I mean, absolutely nothing well.
But they lost their left tackle in the off-season, didn't they?
Yeah, Whitworth's gone to the Rams. They lost
the
Browns. Like, their two best linemen are both gone. It's a new offensive line. They've struggled, and Dalton looks terrible.
Yeah. I think
he looks awful.
They're going to drop this game, and then the talk about replacing Dalton's going to get even more intense.
The talk's already there, and it's going to heat up. The Packers, I think, they just got so unlucky on Sunday with all those players getting injured, going in already down your two starting tackles, and then losing your number one receiver, and Mike Daniels, your best defensive player.
Yeah.
I was always going to make that tough, but they'll have too much for this Bengals team because they just can't get anything going. So, we're all on the Packers then.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Moving on to the Sunday night game, the rejuvenated Raiders heading to take on the Redskins and your beloved Kirk Cousins.
Oh, no, this is going to be a bad game. I believe in Kirk Cousins, but this Raiders team is rolling, man. It's going to be...
What did you see from Captain Kirk in the game against the Rams?
I can't remember. I've actually... Hold on, I've actually...
What wonderful insight you offer.
Shut up, come back to me.
The Redskins just ran the ball a lot. And this passing game is still just so out of sync.
New receivers there, they're out of sync there, and but I think they might be able to get something going against the Raiders secondary, because I mean, although it's been better than we expected it to be, it's still not a great secondary, and I think they will get something going there.
I think if the Redskins run the ball like they did against the Rams, they've got a chance in this one.
Oh, yeah. They've got a chance, but, I mean, if it comes down to it, we've seen Derek Carr in situations where he had to come back and stuff like that, and with the weapons he's got, as we spoke about earlier, I think Derek Carr's just the key to them winning.
Well, I don't think there's too much to say about the Raiders game against the Jets, is there? It was the Jets. They took care of business, started a bit slow, but got it going. They've just got a lot of weapons.
Yeah.
I think if the Redskins offense can get firing on all cylinders, Jordan Reed looks a bit healthier. Pryor and because Pryor's getting open and they're just dropping it all. They're missing. It's if they can get that stuff together, the run game works. Then I think they can win. But I worry about the Redskins defense being able to slow down this offense. They're very balanced. They're very talented. It's going to be rough for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the tail of the tape's just gonna come down to that Raiders offense versus the Washington offense, who can execute better. And unfortunately,
I'd be shocked if this is a shootout. If the Redskins can get their offensive game plan together, and they can resemble the last couple of years where they've been a real effective air it out team. Otherwise, no, the Raiders. I mean, until I see it, I'm going to side with the Raiders.
Well, the thing is, though, the problem in Washington as well is the exception of Jordan Reed, the receivers are kind of like a patchwork of, oh no, Deshaun Jackson and all the other good receivers left. Let's see who we can grab and put them together in a bunch and see
they
what
lost
happens.
their reliable wideout in Garcon, and I think that the thing they missed with Deshaun Jackson is he really opened things up for Jordan Reed underneath.
Yeah. And they're really missing that. I think the Redskins are going to struggle. I don't think they're a contender this year, as much as I do love Cousins.
They're not based on what I've seen so far.
I don't think so either. I think they're going to end up being a middling team all year, and then in the draft and free agency, they're going to, if they keep Cousins, I think they're going to invest heavily into the receiving core.
Maybe. Yeah. So we finish up. Oh, have we all got Raiders here?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
So Monday, the Cowboys head into Zona for what it seems like it happens every year.
Yep, and Zona are yet to lose.
Yeah. Have you seen them lose?
Nope.
I don't think you have. That's weird.
I think the record's something like 7-10 years. I think we faced them, never lost yet.
I can't remember the last time the Cowboys beat them, oddly. So you as our resident Cardinals fan, we'll let you take the lead on this one. What did you see from your Cardinals last week?
Diddly poo. Diddly bloody poo. Because it was the Colts. And
you got bailed out by Honey Badger.
Right, well put it this way, and it's a comment I made on the Cardinals.
No, he got bailed out by the Colts being the Colts right now.
No. The best quote I heard was the Colts snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. That sums up that game.
They did, yeah.
Absolutely. It's just nothing there. Carson Palmer, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's seeing down the field. He's just overthrowing fools. He's
seeing ghosts in the pocket.
JJ Nelson's. Yeah, I mean JJ Nelson's got the problem of. Yeah, JJ Nelson's got the problem of he'll make the hard catches, but the gimmies, no, drops them. Fitz is Fitz. Fitz is still old reliable. Gresham dropped a couple that he should have had because he's an idiot.
I can't believe they gave him $28 million.
Oh, yeah, shut up. John Brown was non-existent. Obviously, David Johnson being out hurt us. John Brown being out hurt us.
The run game struggled, I thought.
Well, the O-line's terrible. I mean, look how many plays we got, and Upati's out as well. And he's a great player just to run behind.
Might be back this week. A lot of those guys that were missing should be back for Monday.
Well, I think John Brown might still be out.
He just can't keep it together, can he?
No.
He's got some sort of illness where he struggles to heal.
It's called Jonathan Woodgate syndrome.
Yeah.
Make reference.
No, I've not seen anything from the Cardinals this year. It's just quite embarrassing, to be honest with you. We lost a game against the Lions we shouldn't have lost, and we nearly lost against the Colts, who no one should lose against. That should have been a bye week, but it wasn't. So I think this is the downturn of the team. I think if we struggle badly this week against the Cowboys, I think our season's on a downward trend. I mean, I'm still taking the Cardinals to win because A, it's the Cowboys, and B, you have to believe in your own team. But no, I'm not seeing I'm not seeing anything special. The offense is meant to be explosive. It's not. It's basically the equivalent of a wet fart at the moment. The defense.
I think the defense has looked okay. It's
the defense. Yeah, but that's my problem. It's only been okay. We knew there was going to be problems on the front seven going in. They get some decent pressure, but obviously we've got a giant Calais Campbell-sized hole there. The secondary, the Cardinals secondary's always been a bit dodgy because there's so much pressure put on the second corner. But no, we should win this, but I'm not seeing anything special from the team.
Matthew is back to his old self, and that's not just he had the game-winning pick, but he's all over the place.
Oh no, it wasn't just a game. It was a game-winning blind pick. He had his eyes shut when he caught it, apparently.
As you do,
because Honey Badger.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. The Cardinals' offense looks just utterly broken. Palmer, he's not getting a lot of help because the guys are struggling to get open, and the pressure's there. He's not no support, so it's not all on him. But he is making some baffling decisions and some poor throws. So he's not exonerated either. Like, there's just nothing about this offense that's working as it should at the moment.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's getting there. I think.
Defensively,
I like the look of Hassan Reddick as well. I'm a big fan of him.
Oh yeah, Hassan Reddick's played really well. But defensively, all I can say is all we have to do is hold Ezekiel Elliott to 5 yards for 15 minutes, and he'll give up. So I'm not that bothered, to be honest with you.
Yeah. What did we all think of the Cowboys' performance getting nuked by the Broncos?
Why you bring that up? I've got a meme. Keep.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, what I saw in this game was a team bumping into a juggernaut and just not knowing how to deal with it in terms of this Denver defense. I mean, Dak looked uncomfortable. These receivers showed they're not of a caliber beyond Dez to even come close to being able to beat these.
Look.
Jason Witten had a good game.
Hold on. Look, there you go. Look, I've got the stats up for you in this meme. Dak Prescott's top receiver Sunday. Dez, 59 yards. Witten, 97 yards. Beasley, 33. Yeah, Talib, 103. That says it all.
I think.
They're not going to face too many defenses like that, and the Cardinals' defense certainly isn't the Broncos' one.
No. But I think the problem is
there's a lot of concerns.
Last year they gave the ball so much to Elliott and they just didn't let Dak throw a lot. I mean, his average attempts was 20 attempts per game.
Yeah, it was.
When you don't let a guy throw that much, he's so reliant on that run game. Is when you take him out of that, he struggled.
Everything they did was based on it. There was a lot of rollouts. There was a lot of play action.
The O-line didn't look great against the Broncos either.
No, it didn't. It didn't. They're missing a couple of guys. Von Miller had his way with Lyle Collins at right tackle.
Yeah.
As you'd expect. That's not really an indictment of their brand new right tackle. Oh, you struggled with Von Miller. Yeah. Probably to be expected. But I thought the interior, that's the surprise to me. To see those guys getting handled.
But I think we can't.
That's not something we've seen.
I mean, we can't overlook the fact, Broncos, elite D, yada yada yada. But we can't ignore
the. Oh yeah, the Broncos D. There's no question. Yeah, Adam Gotsis, that's the other defensive end.
No, but my point is, we can't.
It took me 40 minutes, but I remembered. He played really well.
We can't ignore the fact that Ezekiel Elliott, who's meant to be one of the premier backs in the league, gave up.
Well, I mean, there is that. The game is well over at that point, but I hate seeing that from guys on my team. I would be very annoyed.
Yeah.
Especially with all the stuff going on off the football field. I think that's. Do you really want to be drawing more negative attention to yourself? And it kind of has that Cam Newton sulky stench to it.
Yeah.
That I don't like.
Well, he was equally sulky. I think last year when the Giants held him as well. He's had so much success against teams that have meh run defenses. I think it's gone to his head a bit, and then he comes up against a proper defense, and it turns out he's not as good as you think he was.
Well, he didn't have a lot of help. I mean, he was getting stuffed in the backfield. He had no chance. There's not even like Barry Sanders couldn't have had a great game in that for them there. But the thing to me is they just showed no respect for Dak Prescott. No respect whatsoever. They were just like, we're just going to line up with these guys one-on-one, and you're not going to be able to beat us. And frankly, it worked. And that's got to be a bit concerning if you're the Cowboys, because teams will try it.
Well, if anything,
not a lot of teams can, because they don't have those corners. But defensively as well, they were just a mess. They're a mess.
Yeah,
they couldn't.
I think as well that
this is the Cowboys' defense I expected. Dang it.
Yeah, but I think that game also showcased the weakness in the passing offense, especially when you're going to Arizona. You've got Matthew in the backfield, you've got Peterson who be on Dez. You know,
the Cardinals could do their best at a ghetto impression of the Broncos.
Well, I think the Cardinals might actually sneak this one in.
But
what was that, Arnie?
I think the Cardinals might sneak this one in.
I mean, they certainly could. Again, this comes down to if this broken offense is going to get on track. The Cowboys
I
are probably
think it will translate again this week. They have themselves another bad week. The secondary, even though the Cardinals' offense hasn't looked great, I think the Cardinals will get something going against that secondary.
Yeah.
If they play like that again, I think we see Bruce Arians spontaneously combust on the sideline.
Oh yeah,
but I definitely think the Cardinals are in for a chance. But I think
you see him he chewed Carson Palmer out during the halftime interview.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was brutal. He was absolutely vicious.
Well, it's Bruce Arians. I think the thing is that the Cardinals need, because we're at home as well, if I remember correctly, is we need this win because hopefully we can build on it and then roll from there. This is a bigger game than most people would think it is, but we really need this.
So you're taking the Cardinals?
Well, I have to. I'll never pick against my team. I don't care who we face.
I'm the same. I'm warning people now. I'm picking the Bucks every week. Arnie?
Cardinals.
I've got to go with the Cowboys. I mean, come on.
I think they sneak it past.
As bad as they were, like the Cardinals, really poor. I can see the logic to how the Cardinals can win this game, but I can't bet on Carson Palmer at this point in time. I can't.
Hey, you never know. If he has a bad enough game, we may see the Gabbert.
Yeah, Gabbert. Oh dear. Well, that's it for week 3. So, anything else anyone wants to throw out there before we wrap this one up?
Oh, there was something. Hold on. Thinking. Phil.
What?
No, I meant fill the time. Oh, there was something.
Oh, you're telling us to fill the time. Arnie, have you got anything?
Nothing that really sort of jumps out at me. It's been fairly quiet for news. I think the only other bit of news we didn't cover was
ugly schedule this week, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Lawrence Timmons getting suspended.
Yeah. I don't know what that's about yet. He went AWOL and they're not telling us why. Come on,
I heard
the pot a little. Give us something to work with.
Oh, I had a brain jolt.
Sneaking in.
Oh yeah, they made the trade as well. They got Stephon Anthony, who probably is replaced at this point.
Yeah.
I remembered my point. It was.
What is it?
It was this. Obviously, in the past year and a bit, 2 teams moved back to LA, and this is something I poked some fun at actually with Arnie on Sunday. We've had 2 teams move back to LA, yes.
Yep.
And the biggest issue they've got is, I saw the statistic for the Rams game and the Chargers game, the turnouts combined were like 81k attendance.
Well, they're never going to be high because I think the capacity at the Chargers stadium's in like the 30.
No, I know, but the thing is the college game that happened that week got 87.
Oh, yeah, it's USC.
Yeah, but it's 2 NFL
UCLA,
teams. And don't forget the soccer team that plays at the Chargers Stadium. They get a better turnout than the Chargers do. I don't. Why is the NFL so insistent on moving teams to LA?
I don't know why there were two. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I got the Rams. That's fine. They're originally from LA, so that's cool. That I'm fine with.
I thought the LA market died for the NFL years ago.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so I don't know why two teams. I mean, I feel so sorry for those fans in San Diego. I mean, everyone saw the videos of the fans burning, their Chargers memorabilia and stuff. They've always been there, but no.
Maybe Young Ho Kim's kicks missing. It's being karma. I mean, it's hard to tell if it's karma or just Chargers being cursed.
No, it's just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. They should never move both back, and Oakland moving to Las Vegas of all bloody places. But anyway, yeah, it's just pointless moves. Was my point. Hate it. Can't stand it.
Yeah, I hate relocations. They suck. They're really bad.
But yeah, that's it for me.
Let's wrap it up there. It's been a good episode, I think. Do this again next week. And I'd like to thank both of you guys for doing this once again. Hopefully we'll be live again each week.
Oh yeah, no, I think from now on it's probably going to be permanent live streaming for you folks. And if you
me lose my internet while I upload the blooming thing for hours on end.
Yeah, and of course if anyone is obviously watches us live, you can interact with us via the chat. I say us, I mean me. I'm the one actively watching it. But yeah.
Yeah, well, you can do that. We do most of the talking anyway, frankly. That wasn't a dig. That was a statement of fact.
Hey, let's get something straight here. I am the Alex Smith of this podcast. I'm the game manager. Shut your faces.
And you still think Chris Johnson is the best backup in the league?
No, shut up. Shut your face. Shut up now.
Right, well, on that note, we'll leave it there. So, as always, check out the channel. We've got game reviews, game previews going up all the time. This will be a weekly thing, hopefully on Wednesdays. It seems like we've got into a bit of a routine with it, so Arnie's work withstanding. We'll try and do second episodes where we can as well with some other faces. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the channel, like, share, subscribe. Check out the Patreon, all that good stuff. Be greatly appreciated. Thanks for your time. Have a great evening, and go Bucks.